Welcome to the Hustle Skirt Podcast, the show that brings you economic equity for everyone, every day, with your host, Debra Gould. Yes, I am Debra Washington Gould, President and CEO of Debra Gould and Associates Inc., based in New Orleans since 1996, a management consulting and training firm. That's the business. Check out my website at www.gouldassociates.com to learn more about my services in management consulting, executive coaching, facilitating and training, surveys and assessment. So that's the business side. But today, we're here all about the Hustle Skirt podcast. And I am so excited to have my guest with me, Jade Brown Russell. I want you to do something for me, ladies and gentlemen, listening in on this interview. And maybe it's the first time for some who know Jade. But I want you to, after this interview, go to the website for Hustle Skirt, www.persistencelane.com, where you can see this interview. It will be featured on my constant contact, my social media handles, as well as YouTube. So you will never miss this interview with Jade today. With that being said, the mission of the Hustle Skirt podcast is to promote, communicate, and amplify the men and women in the business community like Jade Brown Russell, who are doing some extraordinary things in the business community as an entrepreneur. You will hear me read her bio, but I want to give Jade her moment to tell you all of the things she's doing that makes a difference in the world of entrepreneurship. With that being said, let's do this, Jade. It gives me pleasure to introduce to my audience Jade Brown Russell about her leadership. She is the principal of Jade Brown Russell, pardon me, Jade, has more than 25 years of experience in equity, program design, policy development, and project management. And you will hear more from her. Her niche is developing solutions for systemic inequities in policies and programs across the nation. From government to corporate sectors, Jay's work is grounded in providing systemic sustainability and equitable reform through equity, legal, and governmental relation consulting services. Y'all, I got to share this part with you in her credentials. Jade serves as a consultant to several public and private agencies on strategic planning, diversity, equity, and inclusion, policy development, and other business solutions. She have done this wealth of bringing her talents and skills to some amazing government and corporate sectors. Just to name a few: the New Orleans Ernest N Morial Convention Center, Parish of East Baton Rouge, City of Baton Rouge, the City of Chattanooga, City of Pittsburgh, Plaquemines Port and Harbor Terminal, New Orleans Family and Justice Center. But I want to drop down quickly to her credentials to share Jade's philosophy on building an equitable ecosystem. Includes a multi-strategy approach to including dismantling systemic racism, promoting racial equity, and building the capacity of people for economic and social resilience. Ladies and gentlemen, as I close out this biography on Jade Brown Russell, Jade is a graduate of Howard University and Southern University Law Center. Jade is the founder and chairwoman of Maroon Inc. And please, Jade, emphasize as much as possible to tell my audience about Maroon and share any contact information. And with that being said, hello, Jade Brown Russell, and welcome to the Hustle Skirt podcast today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Listen, Miss Gould, this is way overdue, I know. And listen, I am so excited to share this time with you. And listen, I am so appreciative, so much gratitude to you for all the work that you've done over the years, really. But also to, bring forward a new platform, right, for us all to hear and share. I think this is what it's all about, to keep moving the needle for small businesses. So yeah, absolutely.
Thank
I'm
you.
excited to be here.
Thank you for that feedback. I appreciate that because the vision of the Hustlers Group, when I made the list of these phenomenal women that I adore, respect, and honor, even if we don't see each other every day in the business community, Jade Brown Russell was high on this list. And so
Mhm.
I said, I'm going to keep asking. I'm going to keep asking. And here, we're here today. So
I'm
my
here.
heart goes out to you. Let's do this, Jade. I have
Okay.
questions that I like to ask my guests. I
Okay.
want you to address them as quickly as you can
Yeah.
because Debra Ann is going to stop speaking, and I want Jade. This is your spotlight moment, and I want you to tell the world how amazing. I can't keep you to myself no more, Jade. I want everybody to know about you. Here's my first question.
Okay.
What is the best praise or constructive or useful feedback you have received by family, friends, business colleagues, and advocacy business groups? Please share that with my audience.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I had so many different ideas of what I wanted how to respond to that, I should say. I think the biggest for me, and this is personal to me, but I'm sure other people it will, resonate, is just don't fear anything. I think it's in general, but it may be also, in business. When I launched my firm initially, I didn't do it when I should have done it because I feared, like, what was gonna stop me, what will be the challenges. And I had, my one of my mentors who said, just do it, because if you don't do it now, in 10 years you're going to look back and really kick your own butt, for not doing it. And so I think it's fear for me. Yeah.
Kudos to that mentor because
Yeah.
Jade, when I was creating this list of men and women, and I said, I gotta find a way. If it takes me 3 years, I want to
Hmm.
interview Jade Brown Russell.
Hmm.
And just the way you responded to this question, I feel the same way. One of
Yeah.
the reasons that motivates me and do this is I must be the change I want to see in others. I see that you exemplify that every day. But that word you use, fear,
Hmm.
part of Hustle Skirt was birthed because my tenacious desire is greater than my fears. So
Yeah.
I'm going to put it out there because I don't want to kick myself in the butt 10, 20 years down the road that
Yeah.
I didn't do it and created
That's
this
right.
platform.
That's
So, with
right.
that being said, you responded beautifully. We're going to
Yeah.
keep it going.
Yeah.
How did you come up with the name of your company?
Wow. So I actually three companies, but two are really ones that people are familiar with. But JD Russell Consulting, which is my consulting firm, it's a legal and consulting firm. We do legal, governmental relations, strategic planning, DEI work, right? That one is just really named, the initials J and D are my children's names, or initials, I should say. And I made the decision to do that because they're my why. And so every time that I write my name, every time I see my name in print, I'm reminded of why I do this work. And it's not just my kids, but it's those that come behind us. And so that's the why there. And then maroon, you talked about maroon earlier. Maroon is not the color maroon. It is actually, we pay homage to the maroon communities, the maroon people across the world. Maroons historically were people who were enslaved, but they knew that they were free. And so they decided to fight for their freedom and define their own freedom. And they did that in their own communities. They built their own communities. And that's what we do there. So yeah, that's why.
Thank you for that why. Thank you for the education to
Yeah.
help me appreciate the name Maroon in terms of the history. I appreciate that. And I love even more that the name, the legal side, the JDR, the initial of each of your children. How powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Way to go, Jade.
Thank you.
Now, you mentioned three companies, and I'm going to give you a moment, and I would like to have you expound on all three. Take your
Mhm.
time. I want you to let my audience know. And if there's different website or telephone numbers or emails for each one of them, take this moment to share that so folks will know how to reach you at
Mhm.
any one of these businesses. My
Mhm.
final question, what would you change about your business journey if you could go back?
Yeah, I think the only thing that I would change is really my mindset, honestly. And even then I still, when I saw that question, Ms. Gould, I don't have any regrets. Many times I wish that I could have, the light bulb would have gone all on earlier in life if I could have changed that. But I don't have any regrets. I think even the things that, either I or other people might consider to be a failure. I don't believe in failure. I think that everything is a teachable moment in life. And I also just think that life allows us to be prepared, allows us to our past to prepare for our future. And so I think whatever we go through, it's supposed to be that way. And so I'm never one to really regret, but there are some things I think that I could have changed, but even if I didn't change it, I don't regret it at all.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you for that response to that question.
Yeah.
And I like the way you color it in terms of no regrets, because
Yeah.
it's always been my mantra. I never see failure as failure, but only as an opportunity to
Yeah.
learn. Now, what I hear from the younger generation, life be lifing and family be family. So, with that being said, along the journey, now you're in a place in
Yeah.
this station of life where there's nuggets and there's wisdom. So we don't look back, we can only go forward. So
Yeah.
I like the way you framed the response to that question, because there are no regrets. We just got to move
Yeah.
forward and make a difference where we are today.
Yeah.
So, Jade, you have answered all three of my questions that I want you to share with my
All great
audience.
questions, by the way.
But I want this moment to be yours. This is a chance to get your shine on, because you are that kind of powerful, positive, influential woman in the business community and in the community. So, talk about all three companies. Make sure that you let my audience know how to reach you, any contact information at this time. So, if you would take the next maybe 2, 3, 4 minutes to
Mhm.
share something about the companies.
Yeah, I thank you for the opportunity to highlight those. And again, thank you for the platform that you've offered up for this. I'll start with my consulting firm, right? JD Russell Consulting. We have been around since 2011, which is amazing to think about the years over time. It doesn't feel like it's been that long, but it has. Listen, I mentioned earlier, we focus on and specialize on legal work. We look at DEI, governmental relations, strategic planning. Those are kind of our anchor areas that we focus on. And so we have a great team, and we have some great clients. So you highlighted, some of them are former clients, and some are current. And then we have some that we didn't even list, that we're still working with, still today. Listen, my background is, like I said, as a lawyer. I started practicing in Chicago, Illinois, in 2003. And I was there in a very, very, very large firm, in Chicago, doing corporate and transactions work. And you can imagine the difference between corporate work in Chicago versus New Orleans. But New Orleans is home for me. And after Hurricane Katrina, which I was in Chicago at the time, and my family came to Chicago, after Hurricane Katrina. And when they came back, I came back to New Orleans, and wanted to be here and help my city, get rebuilt, really. And so I think I've done, a lot of that work over time. A lot of my legal work has been around that. Public finance is kind of on the legal side. A lot of the work that we do, we are general counsel for the Finance Authority. We do a great deal of their transactions work, and really bringing affordable housing, which is a much needed thing in the city of New Orleans. So we do a lot of that work. But I also, on the governmental relations side, I represent organizations like Essence. Organizations like the Center for Employment Opportunity. So it's a wide, very diverse clientele that we have. And so I think, the work that we do there is much needed in our city. But our focus has always been about building the Black community in our community. And so I think that that's really what we do there. You mentioned that I represent the convention center, and I still do represent them. But something really, really special happened when I began representing them. I was doing some work on the DEI side, and I'm transitioning into Maroon, but I was working with them on the DEI side, building their program for small businesses and DBEs and small enterprises. And so what my team learned in that process is that, we have these agencies that are building DEI programs and initiatives. And what we saw is it's not just if you build it, they'll come. Right. The small businesses just don't automatically come. Right. And so what my client was seeing was they built the program, and they were saying, Jade, why aren't, the small businesses coming for the opportunity? And so there are a lot of reasons why, things like trust and, honestly, just, making sure that small businesses can be prepared for, those large projects, right? And so what I realized was that we needed to create something on the other side of that ecosystem. You called it, the ecosystem. So it's one thing to build programs and initiatives, but you got to build the small business community, right? And so we launched in 2022 Maroon. Maroon is initial. Well, when I first came
Let
up.
me get you to pause just for a moment because earlier we were talking about the firm, the JDR
Yeah,
piece. Can
yeah.
you pause for a moment to give us a contact because
Oh, yeah. Thank
you have a list of clients,
Yeah, yeah.
yet we want folks to know how to reach you.
Sure, sure. So
Could
you
you
can
pause
always,
before you talk about Maroon to say how can we best reach you and your colleagues?
yeah, you can always reach me on via email. My email is Jade, Jade, my first name at jdrussellconsulting.com. You can also reach us on our website, which is www.jdrussellconsulting.com. You can reach out to us at any moment, and somebody from our team will jump on right away. And you can always reach out at 504-621-8699. So those are three ways that you can reach out to us at any time.
Thank you for doing that. If you can take just a minute on
Yeah,
Maroon and the third
yeah,
business so we
yeah.
can close out the program
Yeah.
for today.
Yeah, and so Maroon actually we started it as a workspace, a working space. And so what we also, again, as you go, you learn, right? And so once we really started to launch it, we realized that we quickly needed to create a nonprofit for arm of Maroon. And so those are two different entities. So Maroon Workspace is our for-profit, which is where there are offices in our building that small businesses rent out to us. And there are a host of amenities, and we have a whole staff led by Joanne Brown Alexander and Monique Bourgeois at Maroon. And then again, we have the nonprofit side that provides all of those wraparound services that we talked about with small businesses. We have a small business development program, amongst others. And so we have some great small businesses that we're supporting, and also some clients that are interested as well in supporting the small business ecosystem. So those two are also under our umbrella. So I'm excited.
So take a moment to tell
Yeah,
us the contact information for Maroon as
yeah,
well as the nonprofit, because I know that Dr. Joanne Brown Alexander and Monique is doing excellent. And y'all, if
yeah,
you're in the New Orleans proper, you have
yeah,
to visit this location. The
yeah.
facility is amazing. You got
Thank
to see it.
you.
Every
Thank you.
time I walk through it, I see something different. Give us that
Yeah,
contact
yeah.
information,
So
please.
our contact there is you can reach out to us. Well, you can reach out to me there at Jade, Jade at maroonworkspace.com, and same extension, but Jawan, Jawan. You can also reach out to Jawan or Monique, Monique, at the same extension. And then you also, so you can reach us you can reach out to us on the website. The nonprofit is themaroon.org, and our workspace is maroonworkspace.com.
Now, we only have absolutely 30 seconds to a minute to tell me about that third leg of the business, and please include that contact
So that
information.
is it. So
How's
those,
that? Is that we got
yeah,
all the business stuff. Great.
yeah, yeah,
Well,
absolutely. I think we covered it all.
Jay, we're at the end. And you don't know. See, you blessed me today because I've been
Oh,
wanting a
thank you.
lot of folks to know about Maroon. It
Thank
is
you.
is a premier location, and I'm glad to know that you have folks renting that space.
Mhm.
And keep a spot for me. That's the direction I would like to go to.
Yes,
Uh,
ma'am.
but as we close out, everything that you heard shared by Jade Brown Russell today, here's how you can follow up. As I close out today, I just want you to remember that the Hustle Skirt podcast is to empower you to speak power, embrace change, just the way you are seeing demonstrated in this interview today with Jade Brown Russell. Own it, own your vision, the mission, the purpose. Did she not lead us through it beautifully today?
Mhm.
Get fired up. That's the only way you can see that mission come to life. Do it with passion. But I want you to visit the website www.persistentlane.com. Please subscribe to the Hustler's Great 9 different platforms to visit persistentlane.com to learn more about the program and to see this actual interview today. There are several platforms you can catch on social media, YouTube, and I'll be sending out my constant contact. So you can't miss this interview. So I would like to close by saying, while you're at it, please subscribe to the iTunes. So make sure that you continue to watch the Hustle Skirt podcast. And with that being said, you are listening to the Hustle Skirt, the show that brings you economic equity for everyone, every day. Because you know, it's all about, I come from this mentality. It's all about abundance and never scarcity. That's why I opened up this opportunity to platform some amazing people who are doing great things. But you have to learn about them, not in just the usual places. So this platform is created to spotlight individuals like Jade Brown Russell. I hope I've done some justice today, Jade, to share the world with our community leader. Her leadership is amazing, y'all. So check this interview out. With that being said, until the next time, you're listening to your host, founder, Debra Washington Gould. Until we meet again, take care. Thank you, Jade. Appreciate you.
Gould. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.